What's going on, guys? E-Drone here, and wanted to give you guys an update on the Martian 2 build. Stay tuned. So as you know, if you watched my last video, the Martian 2 crashed and we had some damage, but I was able to get the stack put back together nice and neatly, and no worries. It doesn't look like any of the circuitry was damaged. The camera, I got the 2 screws back in the camera. The lens looks fine, so that's all good. Want to just give you an update. The receiver I ended up moving, actually, while I had it apart, to the back here. That way I can see the LED, and also the button on the side there. I'm able to actually press that from the top. The ground wire on the VTX actually came unhooked. I don't know if that came unhooked during the crash, after the crash, or in mid-flight. But I was able to go ahead and resolder that. And the motors, wow, I wanted to give you guys an update on these motors. So I actually snapped 3 shafts on the motors trying to take off the prop nuts. Not happy about it at all. I went over to the Emax website to go ahead and try to contact them to see if I can possibly do some returns. You can see I even tried to hold the bell with some pliers, and obviously it scratched the paint off. But they were just a nightmare to try to get these prop nuts off. I don't know. I mean, I did put them on there kind of snug, but I thought that was the whole point. I thought you were supposed to put them on there snug. The carbon, you can see, took a big hit there, but man, this is a one strong frame, if I can say so myself. This Martian 2 frame is very strong. And actually, I cut my hand open. If you can see right there, I actually cut my hand open trying to get these props off. That's how tight the daggone nuts had gotten on themselves. I don't know, from the torque of the flight, if it tightened them down even tighter than when I had originally hand tightened them. But I'm going to go ahead and flash some pictures up here, because I was able actually to learn that there is a newer style of Emax motor that has come out, and it is the Race Spec 2205S. And this one actually has a steel shaft versus a aluminum shaft. That supposedly Emax knows about this problem. Otherwise, they wouldn't have came out with this new motor that's lighter and has stronger shafts. So evidently, this has not just been a problem for me. It's been a problem for a lot of other people with the shafts snapping off on these motors, which is no good. Unfortunately, I reordered the same motors that I have on eBay through a seller, trying to get the motors, in as soon as possible. And after that, I went to the Emax website, and that was when I learned about these new motors. So once I learned about the new motors, I'm like, oh man, I should have bought the new motors, because they're really not that much more to get the newer motors with the steel shafts. Plus they're a little bit lighter, and they use like curved magnets, and they've done a little bit more technology to get a little bit more thrust out of the new motors. So I went ahead and messaged the guy on eBay, and hopefully he's gonna let me go ahead and do a refund. I told him that I had ordered the wrong motors. If there's any way he could refund me the money, that would be awesome. He hadn't shipped the motors yet. I just paid for them. So hopefully he'll be able to refund me my money, so I can go ahead and get the newer motors with the steel shafts, so we don't have this problem again. If not, I'm just going to have to be very, very careful putting these prop nuts on and off. Probably need to thread the prop nuts down all the way, and then loosen them up without the props. Do that a couple times to kind of soften that seal on the threaded lock nuts, and that may help. So just want to give you guys an update on that, because if you do have Emax motors, the original Race Spec 2205 motors that have the aluminum shafts, be careful, be cautious when tightening up your prop nuts, because you may end up snapping shafts. This is a very, very big problem. Obviously, Emax knows about the problem. That's why they made a newer motor that kind of addresses those problems. But I feel in my mind that if there were any kind of a decent company, they would be refunding people, either giving you new motors or refunding you money for the motors with snap shafts. But how are they going to be able to tell if you didn't do that in a crash? Anyway, guys, thanks you so much for watching. Please hit that like button, subscribe. Until next time, E-Drone out. Yeah.